Alchemy Gaming, we did see some nice things from Alchemy in that last game.
Yep.
Early on, some very nice lane control for the first, several minutes, up to 10 minutes. But unfortunately, a lot of the lanes were designed for TGF where they would start snowballing as the game progressed. And so the key is for Alchemy to see how they can counteract that, how they can, control the lanes and then win early fights. And I think that we would probably expect to see Alchemy try and be really aggressive early, try and win a lot of early fights. They do ban out Morgana. I thought Morgana was one of those champions they might want to try and pick up, but is just an all-around strong champion. So I'm fine with that ban from Alchemy. If they were concerned that TGF might pick it up, I think they really need to ban out Jax. I wouldn't want to have Jax again unless you're very certain that you can either win early or take him out in lane. And I don't think Alchemy can guarantee either of those things.
Well, considering the lead Jax had on in Game 1, he was like 9-1, something crazy ridiculous. So I think it would be a safe ban. However, they will be leaving open Blitzcrank. Among the three, Morgana, Kog'Maw, and Blitzcrank that they banned out Game 1, it's a tough call, but I would actually take out the Blitzcrank and put in the Jax ban. Because Blitzcrank, it's very particular on certain teams, when they want to use a Blitzcrank, but also semi-predictable. And, if you have good ward coverage and you know where Blitzcrank's positioning is, that alone can sometimes shut him down. But Janna actually coming in for the last ban, so Shen is open. So, Alchemy actually taking the initiative and banning out Shen, and Jax is open, and Team Green Force will go ahead and take it once again. So now it's in the same situation game number 1, but Jax is out there, he's in the open, they know. So now Alchemy can somewhat, build their team around trying to shut down the Jax, but it could backfire, but we'll see. Caitlyn and Tarek going bot lane. Actually, I'm kind of a fan of that. I like that, actually.
Yeah, I definitely like that pickup. We'll see how it works out for them. But for one, they take the Tarek away from TGF. And having Grace and Tarek is just such an aggressive bottom lane. It's always tough to deal with.
Unfair, but Blitzcrank is open, though, like I mentioned before. So TGF may go ahead and grab it, but Graves is still open. And Graves Blitzcrank is also a fairly dangerous combo in its own. Because, Blitzcrank, you have the pull. It's continued CC with the pop-up. All the while, Graves can just go ahead and just plug away. But remember what we were talking about earlier. There is a possibility that there could be a lane swap on the end of Alchemy. They could have Caitlyn and Tarek actually go top lane.
It's really hard to say. And against Graves and Tarek, again, Graves and Blitzcrank. Graves and Blitzcrank is just such an aggressive bottom lane that it's hard to imagine your top laner going down bottom. But we are, Tarek and Caitlyn should be a pretty safe lane. We do have the stun from Tarek. Caitlyn outranges Graves, so we saw a very similar matchup earlier, actually, in our match between TCM and Pinky Jones. And so Caitlyn versus Graves, as long as she can get the harass off, Caitlyn has the harass advantage. It's actually a 125 range advantage for Caitlyn. Graves has 525 range. Caitlyn has 650. So 125 range, as long as you start off with the boots. You just sit there, harass him. Whenever he comes in for minions, you harass him. You're going to be safe. It's going to be very tough for him to engage on you. And so they can slowly wear him down. Same thing with Blitzcrank. It's all about brush control against Blitzcrank. And so we'll see if Tarek starts off with some nice early ward coverage, can shut that down. Warwick against Jax top. I always go back and forth in that match. I've seen it a couple of times where it's worked, a couple of times where it hasn't, and so we'll have to see.
I have a sneaking suspicion that may actually be Warwick jungle. We may actually be seeing Udyr top. Still has yet to be known. Still have one more pick to go on Alchemy, but we'll see if the swaps do occur, who's going top, who's going jungle, and that is, it could be semi-ambiguous. Warwick going into jungle, though, his ganks are subpar until he hits 6, until he gets to suppress, which actually could be something they need here, because Jax can be quite slippery. So can Graves, he can dash away, and knowing that the Shyvana will actually be on TGF once again, there's a lot of escape mechanisms here on TGF, so actually a Warwick jungle with 6 could actually be an okay call.
Yeah, I mean, there is a potential for that. I think it'll probably be top lane, but TGF able to grab their entire team, so basically from the last game, they do have Blitzcrank. He's a little bit more aggressive, has a little bit more initiation potential than Tarek, but not as, doesn't have the heal, so without the heal, maybe that could be an advantage for, Alchemy if they can get that ranged harass off bottom.
Yep.
we will see it is Warwick top. And so here's the thing, Warwick versus Jax. Warwick has the regen advantage. You just sit there, and every time Jax comes in, you throw a Q to the face, you heal yourself, you have your auto attacks to wear down Jax and heal yourself, and then once you hit 6, you have a lot of killing potential. So it's actually a really nice lane matchup. Jax has a lot of damage potential. It's really difficult for Warwick to go 1v1 against Jax. As the game progresses, Jax is just going to kill him too fast for him to heal. But as long as he's very slow with his range harass and keeps himself safe, he can just walk up to Jax, heal off of him, slowly wear him down. We'll have to see how he builds. I would expect he'll build with a quick Ninja Tabby. We might see early Dorans, because that's a thing that you see a lot of Warwicks do. For the mana regen, a little bit more ability power, so you do a little bit more damage. A fast Glacial Shroud would be huge against Jax. So if we get a fast Glacial Shroud on Warwick, so he can shut down some of Jax's damage, when Jax comes in, that attack speed slow would be massive.
Yeah, so it's really, though, over time, can Warwick's Q actually out-heal the harass from Jax? That's the thing.
No, early on it does, but as the game progresses, Jax is just going to kill him too fast, and that's just what Jax does. He's just going to, he's a killer. But early on, Warwick, can easily out-sustain Jax, and so just, be very careful. Don't, the early levels when Jax has really long cooldowns, so early in the game he has such long cooldowns, every time you attack, you're healing, and so Jax can fall behind quickly, and it's actually a really smart lane matchup. Udyr in the jungle versus Shyvana, they're very similar champions. Udyr has a little bit better ganking potential. We do see the exhaust on Shyvana, though, so that'll help. Ahri mid, though, gives you a lot of mobility. You can maybe pick up kills, and that's one thing that they wanted to do, change up from last game, I think, is be a little bit more aggressive early, try and see if you can pick up kills. So now top lane, if we have Ahri come up top, we have the Warwick ult followed up by the Charm on Ahri. We just have a lot of burst damage and are able to shut down Jax, maybe snowball off of some early kills.
And Ahri is a very mobile champ in on her own, and that was the one thing that TGF did game 1, is that, very early on, you had a lot of champs transitioning to different lanes, getting the jumps on other champions, not uncommon. Like, it was the first blood already. It was a 3-man gank top. Jungler sneaks in, Gragas comes up from mid, and that's just a 3-champion sandwich onto the Yorick, and just kind of went from there. Even then, you saw 4 champs down bot, looking for the tower dives there. So it looks like Alchemy is borrowing a page and realizing, hey, got to be a little bit more mobile. Got to have a little bit more teamwork to try and get aggressive ganks going down. I can see Udyr trying to rally the call. Get Warwick from top to help gank mid. Get Ahri from mid to help gank top.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely the case. So we'll have to see. I mean, it is they do have a lot of kill potential in all these lanes. Gragas should be pretty safe against Ahri, but I don't know. It's we'll have to see. I wouldn't expect that we'll see a lot of aggression on mid lane just because Gragas is so safe and he's got the turnaround potential with his ultimate. But for the most part, they want to have that's kind of why the Caitlyn pick is really nice also, because Caitlyn down bottom, it means that they can have a very safe bottom lane. They don't have to worry about too many kills from bottom. As long as they stay out of that Blitzcrank grab, they can win the lane without any help from their teammates. And then Ahri can focus on top lane. And for the most part, they want to focus on top lane, see if they can get kills up there, see if they can shut down Jax.
Yep. So going to have to wait and see. And I'm hoping that Ahri could actually get a nice little early advantage on Gragas, because Gragas, very early on, he's not the strongest dude, which is why he stays back, stays in the back throwing the barrels. But the right angles could get Ahri, get the nice, just beautiful charm, followed up by the orb. Could be quite a bit of damage, but once Ahri hits 6, though, could also potentially see just straight up dips into Gragas. And see, there we go. Now we got the Gragas Esquire. It was Casual Tuesday. Now it's Friday night. Gragas is looking to go out and be a boss. And
yeah, I appreciate it.
There we go. And so now it's just NK's got all the skins to satisfy anyone who needs satisfactions. But there we go. Now loading on up. So this will be the deciding game, 1-1. Whoever wins this will be moving on to the round of 16 to play the winner of Absolute Legends NA and Genius Gaming, and we are in. So Warwick top lane against the Jax. Ahri in the mid against the man Gragas with the Champagne. And then bot lane got the Blitzcrank and the Graves to go against the Caitlyn and the Taric. Caitlyn does outrange Graves right out, but there's the dash, there is the buckshot, there is still the means for harass.
Wow, and actually in that top lane, we see Jax picking up the Dorans to start off. And that's actually really surprising. So, we'll see how it works out. With the Dorans, we'll be a little bit safer, has a little bit of armor. In the 1v1 situations, we'll be pretty strong, but it's not enough regen compared with health pots. So if Ashes can get off some early harass, then very quickly he could put Jax back in that lane. We see Ashes starting off with that cloth armor again because he knows he doesn't have to worry too much about the ganks from Shyvana. He can just kind of sit in that lane, and then that'll allow him to exchange very well with Jax. We'll have to see if that can work out for him.
Not to mention, remember, Warwick's Q doesn't do physical damage; it does magic.
Right.
So the armor bonus from the Dorans is actually not really going to be going to a
His
whole lot of
passive
use.
does magic too. So
yeah.
We'll have to see. It'll allow Jax to tank the minions a little bit, and so maybe that's the thought.
Could be.
But I don't know. It's kind of a weird pickup. So right off the bat, though, we see TGF with this Blitzcrank. They want to come right up into this jungle, invade the blue, get a quick gank off. We have the traps from Caitlyn. Udyr is setting point, so they will generally be pretty safe. But we'll see if they try and sneak around it.
TGF should be able to get around pretty nicely. The trap doesn't take the entire width of the entrance there, but that trap will, though. So now Alchemy knows there's a robot in here who enjoys cupcakes in bear traps. So they'll know the wiser. Just let them take the blue.
Yeah, and Udyr is perfectly fine running up to red. He will get the pull onto red, and so he is going to be very safe here. This is going to, speed up his jungle actually a little bit. So he loses the blue buff. That is going to, definitely slow him down some, but it'll get him right up top lane, get off some aggressive ganks against top, and because Jax doesn't have the boots and doesn't have the health pots, any early damage from Udyr is, just going to be permanent, basically. So we'll see, if he can set him down a little bit. He is coming in, and we see Kuhn is going to see him. It'll give Ashes a nice chance to get some damage off. Not really taking a whole lot of damage so far. He has to be running, like, regen runes or something. I'm really kind of curious about that, actually. If you look at the character stats and hit C.
Yeah, so who we're going to have Jax? Let's look at Jax. Let's take a look at Jax.
So he 16. That seems a little bit high. I'm not sure about the actual number. It is actually high. So he is running. He's running regen runes on Jax, which is interesting. So now Jax doesn't have any innate sustain, but by running those early runes, he can out-sustain Warwick. He's not going to out-sustain him, but he doesn't have to worry so much about the damage that Warwick's doing. And along with the regen from the Dorans, actually that's probably just the regen from the Dorans. What am I saying? That's exactly the regen from the Dorans.
Yeah. So it's still mitigating some of the damage that Warwick is dealing. Plus, not to mention that most Dorans, it's 120 health from the shield. Most of the Dorans now they were nerfed a little bit. They only give 80 now, right? I think. Yeah.
I think it's 100.
I think it's either way.
I don't remember.
Either way, though, TGF is still looking. Graves. That's one of the things he does. In order to keep the passive going, just pushing the lane. However, Ahri actually getting quite a good amount of aggression in mid, showing the dominance. But Jax still content with farming here, along with Ashes. We're doing the starts this game are significantly stronger than how they were last game. Graves still has a little bit of a push on Caitlyn and bot lane, but the other lanes, for the time being, are actually looking pretty healthy. And there is ganks abound top lane for Udyr as well after he goes back, recover a little bit. But the pull, bot lane, going down onto Taric. Could have trap does not catch anybody, but free damage there onto Graves. And actually now you see the little bit of the damage. You see the trading blows up top lane. And for the time being, though, Warwick does have a little bit of the edge in the harass.
Yeah, and the big thing is for Warwick to get in those auto attacks along with the Q. And so if he's just using the Q harass, it's not going to be enough. But as long as he, runs up, attacks Jax a little bit, takes a little bit of damage himself, and then heals it back up, he's going to be fine. And he's doing a pretty nice job so far. But Jax, generally pretty safe, is able to farm, but he is starting to take some damage. We will have the hook, just barely reaching.
Nice net.
So not reaching. So Gurney with a really nice net to get out of there. And Udyr has a nice little jungle advantage over Shyvana early on, actually. Oh, no, Shyvana's actually a little bit ahead. Yep. But, we will see. They both did just go back. Udyr's starting with that Ruby Crystal, so, we'll see if that turns into a quick Heart of Gold. Gives him a nice little gold advantage.
Gotta give it to Caitlyn here. Not doing too bad of a job farming under tower, considering all the pressure that Liquidity is giving here. And top lane, though, Warwick can't keep up that harass forever, though. You can notice that the mana pool is sort of dwindling. But still, though, key when you're being pushed this hard, just don't die. And actually, for the time being, things are going a lot better than game 1, actually.
Yeah, and the big thing for Warwick is just to keep up the harass against Jax right now, and he needs to be able to win this lane early before Jax starts to take off. Jax has been pretty safe so far, and so he is starting to get to that point where Jax is just going to be a monster, but we will have the Warwick ult, follow it up with the Udyr as well, so we'll see if we can get a gank in there. Jax does have a ward with him, so it'd be nice to get the gank before the ward goes down.
Yep.
Or if Udyr tries to time it, if he gets these wolves and then goes back up for another clear, that'll put him right up top around the time that Jax is going to be dropping that ward.
So there, Ahri in the mid, getting some little bit extra harass there on Agragas, but you see Shyvana, did we get vision? I don't think we did. So Shyvana now going in for a little bit of the counter jungling. But now you see the lane starting to, oh, there we go. There's the dash. There's the buckshot from Graves. And that's, while Caitlyn may have the auto attack advantage, that's where Graves' harass is still pretty effective.
But we do have Shyvana coming up in this top lane against Warwick, so going to clear him out a little bit, just wants to make sure that Udyr isn't coming in for an early gank.
Yep.
Warwick, we'll be able pretty safe in that lane. There's not really a whole lot of ganking pressure. We do see Pinku, because they don't have the vision of Udyr right now, he's been sitting in the river for a while, wants to make sure they won't have an engage, and so they will be pretty safe so far.
Warwick doing some work. Warwick doing all right. 30, 39. Granted, the farm is still in Jax's favor at the moment, but here we go. This is what I was mentioning before. He got Ahri coming down. Pretty sure was spotted, though, by that one last creep, which may be a little unfortunate. But what this could do is could just push TGF a little bit further back in the bot lane, but Ashes is not quite 6 yet. You're almost there, and the harassment may actually be a little bit too much. If Warwick was 6, that may be a fight that could actually be fought, but there's still a few more creeps that need to be killed, and actually, looks like Jax may actually have a full level advantage here in Warwick now.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure where he got it, so it's at some point in time just zoning Warwick out a little bit, able to get that level advantage. It's actually pretty huge. We have the flash and the stun, so Ash is going to go down very quickly. We have the ignite. He is able to back out of there, so he will live. The flash is down for both of them, and we'll see how he can do when he comes back up. But he is going to miss a ton of gold and experience underneath this tower. He probably should just wait up there. Jax, has that kill potential, but if you can play safely, he's very close to hitting 6, and then if Jax jumps on him, he just ults right underneath the tower, and so he'd actually be pretty safe, even though he was really low. Yeah,
just to err on the side of caution, I wouldn't, and actually, this could provide for a good amount of experience for Udyr, just to help try and get an edge. Shyvana is 6, so this should actually be a little good for Udyr as well. Get some extra XP, should ding 6 on his own, but here comes Warwick. Once again, Jax was dissuaded enough for Warwick to actually go ahead and get up a little bit. So, but once again, Liquidity and Pinku here bot lane, pushing, doing what they do. Taric gets a ward down in front of the Dragon Pit. There is a ward already there, so there's mutual vision for whenever Dragon does get engaged upon. But actually now we got some free farm time in top lane for Warwick as well. Just a little bit of catch-up time, but not going to be sufficient. But still
but the hook from Pinku, they will be able to pick this off pretty quickly. We have the explosion,
oh, no.
Not going to be able to pick up that kill.
Explosive Shell does not get the kill onto Taric. There is no heal on Caitlyn though, so that was just all Taric. That was all Taric with that heal on himself, good enough to get him out of that sticky situation. Blue buff being mutually passed to both APs, but the Gragas is taking the opportunity now in the absence of Ahri to get a little bit of a push.
And we do see Ahri able to grab that blue, like you said. That's going to allow for some increased aggression. Gragas really easily able to come up and steal these wraiths, and so that's one of the benefits of Gragas. You can push the lane very aggressively, and then you have that mobility, go steal the enemy jungler, whatnot. I'd like to see some ganks up top, and so level 6 Warwick now, he wants to get those kills. But we haven't seen a whole lot of pressure onto Jax, and so unfortunately Jax is very safe in this lane. We have the Ninja Tabby onto Warwick, so that'll help some, but Jax building into the fast Cutlass. We do see some damage from NK Inc. The nice little dodge from Ahri though, and both Udyr and Ahri are chasing Gragas away. He will be fine getting out of there.
CYO is still a little bit in pursuit, but will eat a barrel on the way. Pings going down. They know Ahri is on the way, traveling down to bot lane, and there is an offensive ward there on the part of Alchemy, but now seems like Ahri may actually be a little bit trapped. Ult is up in case of emergency, and there it is, getting the charm down onto Gragas, forcing him to flash and bust himself over to the tower. to safety. But no, it's ult for Summoner. That's all right.
Yeah, now we see Gragas up, or Jax up top, definitely a complete controller of the lane over Warwick, and that's the concern. If Warwick can't get an early advantage, then Jax just wins so hard. Warwick is pretty low on mana, and so Warwick has enough for the ultimate, but that is about it. Now he actually doesn't have enough for the ultimate anymore, so we could see Jax diving Warwick in a little bit with the dodge. He will be pretty safe underneath the tower. He will take the turret hits. With the dodge doesn't block the turret hits, but even so, he's going to have so much damage. We have the stun going off. Some nice aggression going down bottom as well for TGF. They're looking for some kills.
There is the hook grabbing a mini. Not going to be able to get a hold on that. But there is the ult from Gragas on mid onto Ahri, and the ignite will be just enough to grab. And it's a pretty late first blood too. Kind of shows everyone's been looking to be a little passive here. But there goes the first blood, and all the harass down bot lane from Team Green Force will now be able to result in a tower going down. So that's a huge chunk of gold going to TGF, and that is definitely something to write home about. That's about 2.5K, 3K total.
Yeah, and Jax so far is just loving life up in this top lane.
Oh, yeah.
Warwick doing a decent job, but he is behind. We do see TGF going to be coming down for this dragon, and so Gragas is going to be fine tanking it. They are missing out on a little bit of damage with without Shyvana there, but they're going to be perfectly safe. Alchemy isn't anywhere near, so they will take it down pretty quickly. And so, with that dragon, it's going to be like a 4K gold advantage, and we'll see if they start, deciding to push it all or trying to fight.
Ahri is a little bit close by. I would not try to get the jump on anyone here, but there actually is a ward in that bush, so TGF knows. Just don't want to go ahead and press the issue just in case the rest of Alchemy is nearby. But now that I think about it, though, Udyr, we haven't seen all too much activity coming in from Udyr. He does have an Oracles, is clearing wards, but in terms of ganks, he's been somewhat inactive.
Yeah, I mean, that's true, and that is a concern for them, particularly in the top lane. They want to get kills off in the top lane. We haven't seen a number of ganks. I think the big thing is because of the ward coverage, he's been a little uncomfortable. We do see Jax going to be jumping onto Warwick here, get some nice damage. Udyr is coming up top, though, and he's going to see him, though. He will be fine, and with Warwick low, they should be pretty safe. But the big thing is Udyr needs to change up his ganking patterns a little bit. So if he ganks down the lane instead of up the river, gank through the bushes, you will be safe. Ahri coming up, and so Jax jumping onto Warwick. There's the ult from Warwick, the charm from Ahri as well. And so Jax uses his ultimate. He has the stun. He's trying to get out of there, but Ahri getting some nice damage. A little bit more. Can't do it, but there it is. The last ult from Wily, able to pick up that kill.
And that is absolutely what Ashes needed top lane. Get Jax out of the picture, allow for some free farm, get the kill, possibly even get some huge damage on the tower as well. Bottle being eaten by Caitlyn. But yeah, that was a gank that needed to happen like 5 minutes ago, I feel. But you know what? Better late than never. Still 1-1. And there's still lots of opportunities for Alchemy to actually catch up. And team fights could be one of their big draws here, because Ahri, extremely mobile, has a lot of tools in her kit and a lot of opportunities for huge damage as well. But that's the thing, though. TGF and Graves being a little saucy, doing the dance, trying to...
Oh, Gragas could almost one-shot. There's the ultimate from Gragas. The pull onto Taric, actually, but the Ignite is going to pick up Gurney, and then Taric is going to go as well.
Nice.
So double kill onto Graves. They will be able to push this tower, and that's the concern with Gragas, how much damage he has so quickly. All of that displacement with both him and Blitzcrank.
Yeah, that was actually just the perfect grab from Blitzcrank, too, because I know the fishing for Caitlyn just to try and secure the kill, but they managed to get both because of the Taric grab. So it's a nice little, happened to end up being a pretty good thing. But here's the thing now. TGF has pushed bot tower to 3rd tier. It's a little bit of a bad situation right now. Top lane, Jackson still actually being pretty aggressive here, but because bot is now pushed all the way to tier 3, there is some room for Alchemy to go ahead and free farm, but that gives TGF so much time to roam and grab stray kills. If necessary, the barrel will be enough to go ahead and grab that kill on Ahri. So now this is TGF's license to roam, now that bot has just been pushed up so far out.
Yeah, and I mean, winning all of the lanes at this point, huge gold advantage. This is definitely the point where they're looking to fight, and so they can set up all 4 of them, except for Jax, set up Jax in that top lane. We could even see a split push from Shyvana as well, but most likely we'll see 3 or 4 of them in the mid lane, and then Jax continuing to split up top. And Jax coming around behind Warwick now. Warwick generally pretty safe with his regen, but he is going to take a lot of damage here. Maybe he could bait him into Udyr if Udyr comes down fast enough. Nope, Jax actually just going to continue farming, and so you can't stop Jax from farming at this point, and it's going to be so disruptive as the game progresses.
Yep, so and it looks like the mid tower will also go for TGF as well, extending the gold lead even further. So now I got to think, Alchemy, they do have an opportunity to free farm, and actually Caitlyn and Tarek are grabbing the opportunity while they can. They are being pinged out. They are a little bit too far, so Graves' liquidity may actually take advantage of this along with the Blitzcrank. But that's an open lane. That's something that if pushed up far enough and if controlled wisely, could actually provide sufficient farm for Alchemy to gain a little bit more ground here. But then again, there's always a risk. TGF is now in a position where they can just go ahead and roam open and freely to any objective they want. May see just full 4 or 5 man ganks. Dives onto Ashes in the top lane, but there's Gragas actually being a little bit caught out. Charm going in the wrong direction, but does still force the flash away from NK Inc.
Yeah, and so he's going to be pretty safe. Can hold the lane by himself, and so Alchemy trying to push pretty aggressively, which is nice to see, but Gragas just has too much clearing capabilities. They will be pretty safe to defend against that. We'll see whether or not TGF can get an engage here. We see Blitzcrank coming up. Again, Udyr with the Oracles gives them some nice map control, and right now we see most of the map is covered by Alchemy's wards, particularly that bottom side. But we just see TGF coming right down this bottom lane. We have Wily kind of hiding in the shadows a little bit, wants to see if he can get an engage. We have Jax as well jumping onto Warwick top, is going to get some nice damage there. But generally speaking, Warwick is going to be pretty safe.
Yep, mid pushing once again, and there goes the Gragas barrel to keep the Tarek away. Charm hitting. Graves will be able to get a little bit of a chunk of damage, but not going to be anything too significant. Shyvana is here to help save the day for Team Green Force, and there you go. Ari is actually going in on this. The Blitzcrank grab will not get anything. The dash is still continuing, but the ult is now down. Graves actually does get focused down pretty quickly, and so is Swift in the middle of everything. The exhaust not going to be enough to take down Udyr either, so 2 quick kills for Alchemy. Actually, really good job.
A really nice flash into a charm from Wiley to pick up that kill onto Graves. Hit him long range, and then Udyr almost going down. If he had lost the Oracles, then that definitely wouldn't have been worth it. NK Inc. is his ult up. It is down, so we actually have Pinku going to go down with the Warwick ult. They're chasing after NK Inc. now. He does have a lot of damage behind him. Can get that body slam? No. So he will go down. So 4 to 5 now, but in the meantime, Jax is safe farming up in that top lane. Not going to get a whole lot of damage onto that tower, but this is what Alchemy wanted to happen. They want to pick up some early kills, see if they can snowball off of this now.
But the thing is that there's still a huge gold lead to try and recap, and now it's like, okay.
Nowhere near as bad as last game.
Nowhere near as bad as last game.
To be in the game at this point.
Yeah, so right now there is actually an opportunity to go ahead, take Dragon. Dragon could have been grabbed actually a little bit early, like immediately after that team fight, or even if ballsy enough, could also just go straight on in towards Baron, but go ahead, play it a little bit safer, grab the Dragon, secure it, a little bit extra gold to try and close the gap. And there's not really a whole lot that TGF can do about this. The ward going down, they know they grabbed it, so now Alchemy will just go ahead, sit back, buy, and see if they can't go. See if they can't get another engage like they had before. Because if they can get another one of those, that would be amazing for them, and put them right back in this.
Yeah, that's definitely the case, and we'll have to see. If they can pick up those kills. The issue is once Jax comes into the fights, he is just so absolutely farmed right now. It is going to be really difficult to deal with. And then Gragas, if he can hit his combo, will just insta-kill half of Team Alchemy. We do see Blitzcrank coming in behind, does not get the pull, so Ori will be safe there. But even so, it's going to be difficult. I mean, once the Gragas ult is up, they're all going to die almost instantly if they get hit.
Yeah, and the Gragas ult, even already now, is on a pretty short cooldown. Once it gets to level 3, it's going to be pretty quick. But there goes Jax going for the engage down on Tarek. Does get stunned, does have to walk away. But now Graves has the opportunity to just go ahead and plug away at this tower for free. The orb doing a pretty significant amount of damage, but still not enough to stop the push from Team Green Forest. Creep wave now coming back up once again. Will they pressure this tier 3? Graves going straight in for the free shots. Swift getting in there as well. And now backing off, waiting for the next wave, which she'll be in just a moment or two. Ward still out in the open. Udyr trying to get it, but he knows it's a bait. If you go for the ward, Blitzcrank will just go ahead and grab you. It'll be game over. So Caitlyn takes it out for him. Jax does get caught by the trap, and a huge chunk, half of his life, is gone in a moment.
Yeah, and so some nice play actually from Alchemy to kind of slowly wear them down. Unfortunately, NK Inc. is just going to keep on spamming those barrels over the wall. The first time he catches someone, it's going to be huge. He could almost throw it at Ari here. If he knew she was there, he would definitely insta-kill her. But once he gets vision with his team pushing up, he can get there. There's actually the charm, so kind of tipping the hat that she's there. We'll see whether or not he just blind throws it.
There he goes. There's the blind throw. Only getting Caitlyn, but that's enough for a really quick kill. Ashes was trying to go in on that, but getting chunked out a little bit too far, and the Ignite will go ahead and finish him off. The charm somehow misses Shyvana, but the straight turret hit will still be able to get the kill. So 1 for 2. Tower still up. That's unfortunately the best that Alchemy can hope for. But right now, Ari's actually looking pretty good, all things considered. It looks like right now, if it's as long as Ari is still up, there's not Team Green Forest is going to be quite hindered trying to continue pushing on into the enemy base. So if C. Wiley does get caught out, it could mean disaster.
Yeah, we did see Shyvana going down, but the Grag Assault into the Blitz hook, really nice coordination there, able to quickly pick up the kill. And that's just kind of what's going to happen every time they walk under there. I think they, kind of expected a couple more kills to happen out of it. So Alchemy doing a nice job of kind of backing off there. But we'll see. I would expect that TGF is probably just going to do more of the same and just come right underneath that mid-turret. Yeah. And so as long as Alchemy can kind of hold it off, they can, deny that gold advantage from extending any further, maybe pick up some kills underneath the tower.
Udyr also still has the Oracles after all this time, still has yet to die. The only one who hasn't died yet in this game. So having an Oracles for that long, it definitely pays for itself. But you see now that Blitzcrank has one for himself, clearing wards in the Baron Pit. And it looks like TGF is getting ready to set this up. And right now, it seems that Alchemy is none the wiser. They're more than content with grabbing their own red. They don't really have the greatest indication here. There are wards that they're still clearing out, but Baron is being taken, you guys. There is a ward right over here. Udyr sees it, and there you go. There's the Blitzcrank pull. Not going to grab anything. I thought that was going to be a seal, but unfortunately it's not, and TGF has the Baron focusing down immediately onto Tarek. Shyvana is out in front. The exhaust going down onto Udyr, and the barrel almost doing the kill, but the Ashes is way too far out and back, and the Blitzcrank grab will actually be enough damage to do it. But here's Ari trying to get away. The charm, the orb, and the ult away. That barrel will be enough to grab the Udyr, and Ari is the last one standing. And right now you got 5 members of TGF all still up with the Baron buff. Will it be enough? Yes, just barely. NK Inc. just not on the quick reaction time in order to snag the last kill for the ace, but Alchemy's not in the greatest spot right now, and I'm not sure what they can do about this Baron push.
Yeah, we're going to see an inhibitor just like there. So for TGF, and with this just huge advantage that they have right now, Alchemy did a nice job trying to keep it even, but really it's just going to be too much for them to handle at this point. And so Gragas does way too much damage to any of them. They don't have enough MR. We see a little bit of MR, but really not enough for them to deal with it. And the fact that Jax is just so farmed at this point, it's really difficult to shut down Jack's late game. Yeah. They can just set right outside of this turret, and so with the poke that they have, they can easily push down the turrets. We do see some nice damage. Gragas actually getting caught out. Has to flash, but there's the Blitz hole pull. Udyr going down right in the middle of the enemy team. Not enough follow-up damage from Alchemy to make them pay for it. Liquidity is a little bit low, but chasing down Wiley there a little bit. They do get this turret, and there's the ultimate onto Liquidity. So Ash is almost picking up the kill, just barely able to grab it as well. So actually chasing him down, but unfortunately Jax is turning into him, has the red buff, will be able to get the stun, but not quite enough damage. Tarek is going to go down, so this is going to be another inhibitor for TGF.
This is going to be another inhibitor for TGF, and quite possibly game just the belly and the barrel is enough to take Ari to half health, and there's the rest of the follow-up. There it is. So after this inhibitor, I think unfortunately this may be game. The creep wave is sufficient. Caitlyn and Udyr cannot do too much to try and deflect this push. There goes Jax just going immediately in, and the Gragas ult enough to do the job, and the Blitzcrank hook for the ace. at spawn, and TGF has run away with this game. The creeps are here. The super minions are pushing. The last Nexus turret is going down, and now over to the Nexus. That is it. This is going to be the game. TGF should be taking this series shortly. This guy gonna get the last kill on the Warwick. This is the last stand from Alchemy, and that should be it. GG. Team Green Forest here are your winners, moving on to round of 16.
Yeah, we'll see how TGF does as they continue to go forward. It should be pretty exciting. They're always kind of a fun team to watch. They like to run unusual things like Gragas in the mid.
Yep.
And we'll see. I'm curious whether or not NK Inc. was just a sub or a permanent acquisition for Team Green Forest. So we'll have to check that out. But regardless, we'll be following them throughout this tournament. We have IPL5-2 qualifiers every Tuesday through Friday, 11 a.m. Pacific time, 20 p.m. Or I guess not PM, so just 20 Central European for our AM, EU qualifiers, and then our NA, same time, usually not going to be an hour delayed, hopefully not usually, but 5 p.m. Pacific time, definitely tune in, and we're happy to have you.
Yep, so Team Green Forest actually being pretty dominant there, and a lot of it, game one had to do with Jax. You look at the stats for game number 2, and Gragas doing pretty good for himself. Doing really good for himself. It just Ari was not able to deflect the massive amounts of farm that Gragas was able to grab.
Gragas just free farms against basically everyone is the concern, and it's really difficult to shut down his farm. And then as the game progresses, you can push waves very easily. You can kill all the minion waves that come. So he's just a really easy to farm champion, and then has a ton of damage in fights as well.
He really does. And not to mention, now once again mentioned before, DFG now going on to a lot of AP carries these days. And you saw just the belly and the DFG was enough to chunk out half of Ari's health. No barrels required for damage of that caliber.
Yeah, I mean, it is a really aggressive combo, so it's tough to deal with. The big thing is DFG is just such a strong item now. We've seen the recent buffs to it. Generally speaking, on Gragas, I like to get some fast ability power. So needlessly large rod in particular. If you get that fast ability power, then you're going to be able to just clear creep waves very easily. It increases your farming capacity so much. It increases your team fight damage. But even so, getting the early gold pretends, we're seeing a lot of champions do it now mid. If you're planning on farming, just planning on sitting around for a while, you get 3 fast gold pretends and you just power farm. So we'll see how that continues to progress if we see that more and more often.
But for now, though, I think we are done. GG's to Alchemy Gaming. Hope to see you again soon. Still got qualifiers 3 and 4 come up. Hope you guys enter that. Love to see how you guys evolve over the next few weeks and months. But in the meantime, tomorrow, do please join us. 11 a.m. Pacific, Millennium and Greek Commandos will be going at it tomorrow afternoon. 5 p.m. Pacific, Dignitas versus My First Time. And we'll see what the Dignitas and My First Time are able to do in there. But for now, though, I think we are pretty much done. Business has been taken care of. And as always, do follow us on Twitter for everything we're doing at IGN Pro League. Same thing on Facebook, youtube.com/IPLLL. And send us your tops, send us your flops. We want your replays, IPLLL replays at gmail.com. Thanks for spending some time with us, guys. It's always a pleasure to see you here on the IPL stream, and we hope you come back. We got the rest of round of 32 this week, and games will only get more plentiful from here. So thanks again for joining us. Any last words? I think we're good for tonight.
No, I think we're good. So thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and we should be putting up a rebroadcast, but regardless, nice job. Both teams. TGF should be a lot of fun to watch. Alchemy, good luck in the future. We'll see if we see you any further, but
we'd love to see you here again. We'll love to see you here again. It's been a pleasure. And hey, we will see you next time. Good night.